Today we're jumping all over the place chronologically and geographically. This is a New England pier mirror, P-I-E-R, pier. Very popular item in the first half of the 19th century. What is really unique about this piece is the fact that it has a lot of the original gilding on it. It's a little hard to find things now that have the original gilding, which is untouched. It's not exactly in the condition that I found it. When I bought it, it had been painted with radiator paint, which was the rage in the early 1900s. They made a bronze gold paint that they put on the radiators when steam heating came out, and a lot of people got carried away and they decided that they would just do everything in the house. And so a lot of these wonderful early gilded surfaces got a coat of radiator paint. I wish I could show you what it looked like when I bought it, but it was about 20 years ago. The whole thing had been covered with radiator paint in the early 20th century, obscuring the original gold. I've had these before and I suspected that it was intact underneath. And I approached it very carefully by getting paint remover, putting paint remover in a can and diluting it with mineral spirits to weaken it. And I did about 1/4 of an inch at a time with a Q-tip. We have a photograph somewhere of me doing that that I'll have to pull up. In any case, I was able to successfully remove the later radiator paint down to the original gilding. Now, I don't want to mislead anyone. This entire piece is not gilded. What they did on these pieces from the 1830s was that normally they would gild certain parts of it that were more prominent, like parts of the turning, and behind it and on the corners they would use a bronzing powder. If you want to get a close-up of this, you can really tell that that's a very different surface from this, where you go from the brilliant gold, which is worn off in places down to the ground, to the bronze, which when it was made probably looked very bright, but in time it dulls. But that's how something like this should look. It's a very commercial piece. These were made in large quantities in the 1820s, 30s, and 40s. This is not the original reverse painting on glass. I added that. So we're jumping around in time quite a bit. It's interesting to look at the top. It has the original crude metal hanger. And nicely oxidized wood on the back with traces of an old paper cover. The bottom glass has been replaced and it has a backboard on it with square nails. It is old but not original to the piece. I have other ones that are more untouched. This one has had some restoration, but when you look at it from the front, it looks pretty good. I had to put a new mirror in it, but I don't like to use brand new mirrors. I had one that's about 60 to 80 years old. And the original mirror would be very discolored and sort of flaking off and really beautiful, but it wasn't intact when I bought the piece. Yeah.